What's going on, y'all? So, I found a video here recently about Black Myth Wukong and about all the failed attempts that Sweet Baby Inc. has tried against him. And it's nice that it's bundled in this video and how well this game is actually being pre-ordered on Steam and on PlayStation, and it makes me happy. We're going to see all that in here. The other half of the video is about another subject, Deadpool Wolverine. We're not going to really cover that because this is about Black Myth Wukong and about how trash, of course, we know Sweet Baby Inc. is. If y'all don't know who that is, you should look into it. It's a company that pushes DEI woke agendas and their cancer on the gaming industry, and everything they touch goes to hell and they ruin it. They are not anything positive in the industry on any sense. So anything you see them getting involved in, be very aware. But all in all, I'm very happy to see Game Science get the results they get. And Demian right here, he's also gonna, say a couple things about how he thinks this may affect his reviews at launch. We'll see, because there's people that think that because they join them, they'll leave the reviews alone, but everything they join has terrible reviews. Do we want to talk about Suicide Squad? Do we want to talk about Flintlock Siege of Dawn? You know what I mean? Like the games that you look at, they have garbage reviews. Except for games like they got a little bit involved with like Spider-Man 2, but that's mostly Insomniac. They're good developers. They can't get much in on that. But all in all, let's go ahead and take a look at this and let's see what he has to say. And we'll be reacting along the way. And by the way, y'all like, subscribe, y'all like this type of content. If you haven't checked out my Assassin's Creed React content, y'all love it. I've covered everything on it professionally. I appreciate that sub.
Everyone, it's Endymion, and today we got quite a bit to go over from Black Myth Wukong absolutely blowing up in woke freaks' faces as it
Yeah,
soars across the charts, making all
I'll be
the
getting
money in the
this.
world. Beyond this, we have a deranged article from The Gamer that I need to talk about that is so
Deranged.
stupid you have to see it. And then I'll talk about the Borderlands movie and how Gearbox's owner Randy Pitchford is going insane over the negative backlash and box office implosion. Firstly, Black Myth Wukong, the game many of us have been waiting for, is almost here. As of the making of this video, it's not quite out yet, it's 9 days from release when this video comes out, but it's coming. And
We just can't get a break from the Souls games, right? I mean, I finished the Elden Ring DLC, 100% of that. I mean, I did the last Remnant. They just keep on coming, to be honest with you. And I beat every single one of them. Love Lies of P. And here we go with this. Though this has a mixture of God of War in it, too.
it's looking to be one of the biggest hits of the year as it's been confirmed as seen here via PC Games. Black Myth Wukong soars on Steam days ahead of launch. The game is currently the #1 selling game on Steam, and it is also within the top 5 most pre-ordered games on PlayStation right.
Bam, right in those bitches' faces. This makes me very happy to see this. And there's people that could say, like he's gonna say later in this video, will this hurt them at the Game Awards? More than anything, the profit that they make is gonna matter more than anything. So that you could support a good developer, so they keep giving us real fucking video games, if you get what I mean. Without all this DEI woke garbage coming in the industry, trying to come in with their mafia nose ring invasion behind the scenes and putting their cancer and forcing it on these developers. And I'm telling you guys, it's not the developers choosing to do this. It's the suit and ties and the publishers that are enforcing that upon the developers. And the people that don't want to get in line, they fire you, they do layoffs and replace them with this garbage. Because they already paid these people behind the scenes, these DEI woke Marxist agendas that you see running. They've put in billions into this. You see? So when they're already paid, they just need to go in and do their job. And that's literally to destroy the world of gamers, hate the masculine principle, you know what I mean? Water down everything and destroy real development. We need to get this shit out. It's garbage.
Right now among other giants, like Call of Duty
And
Black
attack
Ops
Asians and
6 as well.
Caucasians
It's safe to say that Wukong is going to be
because
a
they feel
mega
inferior.
hit, although reviews are of course not out yet. And this is what is worrying me because every single article that I read about Wukong that I researched for this video, I'm not kidding you, pretty much all of them attempt to slander the game's reputation based on baseless accusations. For example, in this same PC Games article, they randomly say near the bottom, however, Black Myth Wukong hasn't been without controversy. IGN's 2023 report exposed a history of sexism in game science, including allegations against staff in leadership roles. This IGN report is following Wukong like it's their own shadow.
Yeah, what happened to IGN, right? Just like what happened with Kotaku. And then here you go, this garbage. See, like when you have this, like you have some people, and I hate to say it, that are so dumb, they'll start making forum posts against that, take it face value without diving deep into it, and seeing what the hell is really going on. And they'll have all these people getting their feelings. Then they'll say they're not supporting it because that's what happened when that happened against Game Science. A lot of people just immediately accepted it face value and started to believe that. I was like, no, you know what I mean? Let me see what's going on here first. And actually, what's being attacked in gaming is masculinity more than anything, and that's a problem. I'm gonna do a video on that one day to cover that. But obviously, this is I'm not gonna even call it journalism anymore. This is activists. You know what I mean? Invading the gaming industry, but it's political chicanery. And that sexual allegation stuff is just nonsense, and it's not real.
At this point. Yet as I previously reported a month or two ago already, Wukong's devs have denied all accusations, and the people who are pushing this, even in China where Game Science is located, have been exposed already to be woke freaks who are drunk on the Western Kool-Aid. The part that's the most damning and annoying about the situation is that it's very clear that Western games journalists are attempting to sully and ruin Wukong
Activists.
reputation and image prior to release because the game doesn't adhere to their theories or their politics. As I also reported before, Wukong's devs allegedly rejected Sweet Baby Inc. wanting to work on the game with them in order to translate the game's themes and story.
The game's gonna sell a couple million. You know what I mean? Let's say if you even sold 3 million at $60, right? That's 180 million right there. 70? That's 210 million. They'll end up probably selling more than that. But the point is that ain't shit. You know what I mean? What do you want to take the 7 million so I can crap on everything, dump it down, turn you into a Suicide Squad or into Flintlock Siege of Dawn? You know what I mean? For your first ever attempt, it's like stay where you belong. They're trying to now invade into Asia. You know what I mean? You can see what they're trying to do in Japan and what they're trying to do in China. They're trying to invade anywhere they can. There's people that really were thinking that this is a problem only in Western society. It's a cancer that wants to spread everywhere, a virus, and we need to get rid of it immediately. I never support it.
Better for a Western audience. Instead, Game Science told Sweet Baby to get lost, and it's no coincidence
Yeah.
ever since then that IGN and many, many other outlets have been running this sexism story since. I am fully expecting Wukong to get lower reviews than it normally would, because Game Science wouldn't play ball with
And it's good to notice because if that does happen, we know and see the quality of this game. You know what I mean? There's going to be people that are going to buy it. I know what I'm seeing with my own eyes. You know what I mean? I'm not going to listen to IGN's review. I'm not worried about them. I don't need them to tell me anything. I can look elsewhere.
Sweet Baby, or these journalists with their baseless accusations. These journalists likely understand that the only way that they can conceivably damage Wukong's momentum is by slapping a low score on it to divert fan support. And I'm here to tell you that take the reviews from places like IGN when this game does come out, especially with wide-eyed skepticism,
Hmm.
because they are openly pushing an agenda against this game constantly. Sadly, it's not the only time this has been happening. There was a notorious preview article about Wukong from TheGuardian.com, where they spent the entirety of the article pretty much just praising the game, saying that its combat is amazing. The bosses are great, there's tons of variety in the forms that you can take on and so on. Yet like PC Games, IGN and so many others, The Guardian then decided it was due time to derail the conversation and go the old sexism route again. Just the name of The Guardian's article is pure cope. Black Myth Wukong, the summer's most exciting and most controversial video game. Again,
What? No way in hell. Look, let me tell you guys something. Assassin's Creed Shadows controversy blows this out of the water. The series has been alive for 17 years. I mean, it's massive. There were some posts where, like, when Ubisoft apologized, it was up like 30 million in the West and like 40 something million in Japan. Then you got Star Wars Outlaw controversy going on. Then you got the stuff going on with Helldivers. You got the stuff going on with Suicide Squad, who has a record representing the history of Warner Bros. And superhero movies. What type of art? I mean, who's this article for? Is it for dummies? Who's supposed to believe this? This is nothing but a bunch of garbage. Literally. Shows the IQ of this person and the people that they're aligned with.
It is not controversial whatsoever. They are basing this controversy over botched translations that were being perpetuated by a single IGN journalist named Rebecca Valentine. None of these claims hold any
capital
water.
B.
Yet The Guardian is trying to push Wukong as the year's most controversial game. Like, what? If anything, there's far more controversial games for other reasons that actually matter and have been proven as fact. Helldivers 2 comes to mind with the PSN login issue and how Arrowhead knew prior to launch that it would eventually be needed for Steam users, but they decided to omit that information in order to secure as many sales as humanly possible before they imploded. Or what about Suicide Squad, which ended up effectively killing Rocksteady and ruining the Arkham franchise by injecting woke feminist nonsense and being one of the ground zero accounts for the whole Gamergate 2 situation and Sweet Baby Inc. explosion.
And then releasing that Mrs.
Those
Freeze.
games, I would wager, were and still are far more controversial in terms of what actually defines what that word even means in the first place. Saying that Wukong is controversial because Rebecca Valentine of IGN can't read Chinese properly because she hired a random Chinese intern to help her interpret, who, by the way, IGN still hasn't paid that Chinese translator yet for their work on the article, doesn't exactly equate to a verifiable source of good, honest information. Even back in June, the Mary Sue ran a similar article stating that Wukong is—
That's because they're just trying to take something that's petty, worthless, and just stupid and magnify it to a level that it isn't at, and it doesn't deserve to be at, just to get their attention, because they're deranged, mentally disordered morons.
Is the year's most controversial game based on information that also has no actual source that has yet been proven true. Like, just listen to what the Mary Sue says here, dude. This is crazy. Again, remember that these claims are baseless, and I quote, "In November of 2023, IGN published a deep dive into toxic, unprofessional work environment rife with misogyny and fat phobia cultivated at Black Myth Wukong Studio Game."
Oh, sorry.
Hey,
Go for the
damn
handful.
ads.
Did you know deodorants don't actually stop sweat? You can think of it as a 3-step process. Step
Rude.
1, you sweat. Step 2,
Game Science, a report made by anonymous workers at the studio, revealed multiple male employees making horrible sexist remarks like a friends with benefits perk listed on a job recruitment poster. "Fatties should F off" was written on another poster. If that wasn't gross enough, there's more. Developers at the studio also said that women shouldn't be allowed to play games made by the company, insisting that there are biological differences between men and women in terms of skill level. That level of misogynistic behavior should not be tolerated by anyone, especially given how bad the gaming industry is to women already. One female Chinese game designer speaking under the alias of Jen commented on the situation, telling IGN's Rebecca Valentine and Ki Hoon Chan these male developers have never paid the price for their misogynistic remarks. In their eyes, women don't deserve respect. Even just listening to them is considered pandering, a marketing tactic, and catering to Western political correctness. I can't describe how despairing this feels." End quote. Honestly, it feels as if the game's journalists are trying to turn Wukong into the next Hogwarts Legacy level event in terms of controversy. They're trying so damn hard to disparage and ruin this game's reputation simply because Game Science won't play ball with them, and it's crazy. Again, like I said, the
Yeah,
translations
pretty much.
were mistranslated, and Chan has still not been paid by IGN for the work that they did on that article. Yet this journalist Rebecca Valentine has been pushing these words she can't even read without a translator as gospel herself. It's crazy. It would be like me saying that Rocksteady, when they made Batman Arkham Knight or Asylum or City, that they sent a man dressed as Batman to my house to beat me senseless because they don't like me. And
Missed
even
that
though that I
series.
have zero evidence of this happening, you have to believe me, otherwise you're somehow a sexist bigot. Like, are we really getting to the point where these journalists are attempting to write fabricated stories out of thin air in order to form narratives that benefit
Hollow
them?
statements.
Are the voices in their heads telling them to write that Wukong is bad because
Hollow statements because they're unintelligent and they don't have anything intelligent to say, and they're just looking to sow wounds of their ego because their delusion could not be supported?
Game Science is based? Did Khalif Adams help with these articles? Because it sounds like it. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Black Myth Wukong ends up getting ignored come any award season this fall.
And I want y'all to think about how a small group of scumbags can do a lot of damage. They only have 16 employees, but look how much damage they have done. Doesn't take much. And we know they're funded by other people behind them that are not included in that. Grant you.
The same way that Hogwarts Legacy did as well. If you hadn't noticed, every single game pretty much across the board that is nominated in any way, shape, or form at any of these websites, they all pretty much have a bias towards supporting what the industry finds important. Diversity, equity, inclusion, strong female characters, and usually evil white men. The only outliers these
I'm
past
getting
few
tired of
years
that.
come award season is pretty much anything that is made by From Software. Because they're so good that even the woke activist cabal can't ignore FromSoft's brilliance. But it's why I think Hogwarts Legacy was not nominated for anything at all, because you don't just ignore the highest selling game of 2023 that beat Call of Duty for God's sakes for no reason. It's cause it was based on Harry Potter, which of course is made by J.K. Rowling.
Who's
And I
awesome.
can almost guarantee you that come this year that Wukong will suffer the same fate. They will review it lower on purpose to dissuade players from buying it.
Maybe.
Then they'll use those lower scores to justify why it was not nominated for anything either, saying that it just simply wasn't good enough. Yet we both know
Maybe.
if Wukong accepted Sweet Baby, they would be praising this game and showering it with gifts and awards.
That's not necessarily true because look at what happened with Suicide Squad. Look at what happened with Flintlock Siege of Dawn and a couple other games. I can't really agree with that, but everything else he's saying is actually pretty damn good.
Because it's a really big club, and you and I and Wukong apparently were not allowed in it. Like, this is so ridiculous. Listen to what The Guardian said during their interview with Wukong's devs when they got to play it, and I quote, "I am unfortunately met with very little honest communication when I bring up a report from IGN which related alleged sexist comments from multiple developers at Game Science as well as those in leadership roles. I present Ted with the opportunity to address the claims of misogynistic posts and whether he feels that they represent Game Science's values. Instead, I am shut down with a hasty no comment from their UK PR representative and then after a long wait given a longer statement of no comment via Ted's translator. I am then told that Game Science's US PR agency will follow up later with a prepared statement only to send the following. Game Science is focused on the demo at this time and will only answer questions related to gameplay.
Smart
the same
choice.
thing happened to an IGN reporter at a demo in Los Angeles last month. It is
They'll try to
disappointing
twist
that
their
Game
words.
Science is opting to invite journalists to speak to them and play the game, but refusing to answer their questions. Perhaps there is no reassurance to offer. A generous reading of the situation would be that this inexperienced studio is petrified of saying the wrong thing. Yet in failing to say anything at all, Game Science is also failing to distance itself and its game from the multiple crude, disparaging, and misogynistic comments attributed to its employees and leadership." End quote. Zero actual evidence, botched mistranslations, and a fabricated narrative, and they're still beating Game Science over the head to respond to something they have no proof of happening. It's like how Grum said once on Twitter, this would be like accusing someone of attacking their wife. And even though you have no evidence of this even happening whatsoever, you continue to berate and attack a husband for something that he never did because you just don't like men. It's disgusting, it's pathetic, but it's totally on brand for woke freaks in the year that is 2024. As for me,
Definitely
I'm buying
Caucasian
Wukong
and
Day
Asian
1. You
males.
best believe that I'll be playing it.
'Cause they feel
And knowing
inferior.
me, I'll try to platinum it as well like I do many other games because I'm a masochist. And I love to torture myself by getting all the trophies in games that I play. Now, let's move on to this really stupid and insane article from The Gamer titled, "Does Deadpool Dethroning the Passion of..."
So yeah, there you have it, guys. That was that to cover that. So you see how garbage this company is and how they continue to just be cancerous everywhere. And then you got like mega mainstream Western used to be video game journalist sites like IGN that sadly have went to hell, Kotaku too. And like I said, I don't consider them gaming journalists anymore. Now I consider them political activists, deranged political activists. But yeah, hopefully you guys like this. Like I said, we're going to be supporting Wukong and we're going to ignore that garbage. Like, subscribe if you like this type of content. Glad to bring this to you guys. All right, y'all have a great day, evening, night, wherever you're at around the world. Peace out, everyone.